welcome to the Skeins of Dreams knitting podcast. I'm Megha. I'm also known as Skeins of Dreams on Instagram and Ravelry. This is episode 3. So, those of you who watched my previous episode must be surprised why I'm here and I'm podcasting today. But I have so much to talk about. So I thought I would separate the regular knitting content from the Rhinebeck episode that I'll put out once I'm at Rhinebeck. So just for reference, today is Wednesday, October 13th, and I've just come back from work, and I thought this is a good opportunity and I should just record another episode that I can put out this weekend, and then the Rhinebeck episode can be a standalone special episode, and I don't want to talk about my knitting and Rhinebeck and it'll just go on forever, and I already talk a lot, so I didn't really need another reason to extend extend that. So yeah, so I'm here today, and welcome if you're joining me for the first time. I'm fairly new at this, so but I have 2 other episodes that you could check out. And if you've already watched those 2, thank you so much for watching. And oh my god, you all left such amazing comments on my previous video. Like, I'm so amazed that I think around 180 people are following me on YouTube. I didn't expect that. That's awesome. Thank you so much. And other comments have been so wonderful, so kind, so generous. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all the encouragement, all the support, all the love that I've been getting. And I'm really thankful for all of you, and I hope that our relationship can continue to grow this way. So if you do like my videos, you know what to do. I'm not gonna say it too many times. You can subscribe, and that'll let you know when I publish another video. And it also helps me because it helps me grow my knitting community. So that's all I'm going to say about that. So how have you been? I think it's been about 2 weeks since my last video, and it has been a really busy time for me. I have immersed myself in so many projects, it's ridiculous. So I go to work and I come back in the evenings and I'm knitting and I'm knitting and I'm knitting. It does not end. So I have a lot of progress to show, and I have some new cast-ons. I can never stop casting on. Like, if I finish something, I need those needles to be busy again, so I cast on immediately. Yeah, so I have quite a bit to talk about, and that's why I thought I'd just record today, that I have some time, and that's why I'm here. So I think we can start off. I'll directly go into the knitting content. I won't blabber for too long, because you know I'm going to start doing that the moment I start talking about knitting. So let's talk about what I'm wearing. So today I'm wearing the Mineral Point shawl. I test knit this shawl for Claire from Autumn and Indigo Fibers. Claire has released a number of beautiful patterns. I really love her designs. They're very classic, so I like them because sometimes you like a garment or a pattern because it looks very interesting to knit, but I find myself liking the classic designs more for when I just want to wear it on a regular basis. Like, it goes with everything in my wardrobe, and I always tend to reach out for those classic designs, and Claire has some amazing classic designs that I've had the privilege of test knitting quite a few of them. And so this shawl I test knit, and I think this was back in July sometime. So yeah, so this is called the Mineral Point shawl. I'm just gonna take it off. It's a lace shawl, triangular shawl. So you can see it's a pretty large triangle. And it has a garter edge at the bottom. Oops. Yeah, it has a garter edge at the bottom, and this is I think it's a sport weight or DK weight shawl. I'm gonna confirm that, and I'll put the details in on the screen here. But I knit this in, I held two yarns together. One of them is Claire's Suri silk, so the Suri alpaca, and the color I used is Old World. And the other yarn that I held with the Suri is Holstgarn Super Soft, that is 100% wool, in the Sweet Pea colorway. So I bought a huge cone of the Holst Super Soft because it's very affordable to do that. Sorry, if you can hear something in the background, my cat just found a box and he's addicted to glue. So he's trying to lick the glue from the tape that was holding the box together. So give me a second. Alright, I'm back. He's staring at me because he didn't like me stopping him from his glue feasting. So yeah, so I was talking about the Mineral Point shawl. It's a beautiful, beautiful make, and I'm really happy with it. So I wear it like this if I have to wear it, like, you know, under a coat or something in the winters. But usually I feel kind of chilly on my shoulders all the time, especially when I'm in my office. So usually I just drape it over my shoulders, and sorry, I find this to be really it's very cozy, and it keeps me warm, and it doesn't get in the way. And with the triangular shawls, you know, it just kind of ends around my elbow, so I like that. It doesn't bother my hands if I'm doing something, and I can just put it around on my shoulders and feel warm and really cozy. So yeah, so that's what I'm wearing today. It's the Mineral Point shawl. Alright, let's talk about some finished objects. The first one I'm going to talk about is, I showed this in the last episode as a work in progress. This is the crop top by Lily Kate France. It's called The One That I Want Crop, and it's done. So this is the crop top that I made for my friend, one of the people I'm going to Rhinebeck with. She looked at the design, and she's a fairly new knitter, and she expressed like she loved the design, but she said that she would take a long time to knit it. So I offered to knit it for her, and I knew that it would not take me too long. This took me like a week, maybe 10 days, and I knitted during lunchtime. So at work, we have a 1-hour lunch break, and I love taking my knitting with me so that I can spend that hour doing something I love and taking a break from work. So this is the one that I want crop. It has a beautiful crochet edging. After you knit it in garter stitch, you do this crochet edging that gives it a very nice finish. That's how the back looks. So I got some buttons, nice dark wood buttons, and I think it's not showing up really well in this lighting, but they're kind of dark, and I can put a picture of a nice picture I took of the top on the screen here so you can see. But so that's the top, and I'm really pleased with it. I did do a fit check with her to make sure before I did the crochet edging. It was important to do a fit test just to make sure that it fits her really well and that it is kind of snug. And we realized that it was a little too small, like too short. It wasn't closing in the back the way we wanted it to. So I actually had to rip out my cast off, extended by like 4 rows, and then I did something that I've never done before. I actually ripped out my cast on edge as well. I followed a video that I found on YouTube, and I can link it here in the show notes, and I used that to cut off or cut out the first row, the first cast on row, and then I extended it by like 4 rows as well, because I was kind of like OCD about extending both in both the directions. Like I just didn't want to extend one side and it would be a little off center. So I took a chance and I cut out the cast on edge, but you can't even tell. It looks perfect. So I'm really pleased, and I have another technique in my arsenal. I can now rip out cast on edges, which is a win for me. So that's the one that I want crop by Lily Kate France. And yes, I used Knitpicks comfy worsted weight yarn in the planetarium colorway. It's a nice dark petrol blue color. So that's what I've used for this. And I'm really pleased with the way it's turned out, and I'm excited for my friend to try it on finally and show me how it looks. Okay, then I have actually a sewing related finished object. So when I booked my tickets for Rhinebeck some 4 or 5 months ago, I decided that when I went to Rhinebeck, I needed a special bag that I could carry my knitting project in, and that I could use to like just store my sanitizer, purse, and all of that. So I found this pattern called the Pepin Tote, the Pepin Tote by Noodlehead Designs, and I made the bag once before this, I mean for my friend for her birthday, and that was in August. And this is the second bag I've made using this pattern, and here is my tote. So I'm really pleased with this. The fabric is amazing. I used this fabric I got from Hawthorne Supply Company. It's a fabric company based in the US, and they have really pretty prints, and their shipping and everything is very quick. So you just tell them the print, and they actually, I think they print it on the fabric of your choice, the one that you've ordered, and it ships out in like 2 days. It's so quick. So I have a taupe color zipper that I've put in, and the best part's inside. And I've used this lining fabric which has cats on it. hold on, there's too much lighting. You can see it. And that's the fabric of the tote. Sorry, it's evening lighting and the sun's going down. I think we'll see how the rest of this episode, like how the lighting goes. Otherwise I may have to do it in segments. I started after I came back from work, so the lighting seems to be a little iffy. We'll see. If I don't like it, maybe this will never make it to YouTube. We'll find out. So yeah, so that's the Pepin tote, and I used cotton webbing straps, and it has a pocket in the front, and it has a zip. It has 2 pockets inside in the lining, and I'm super pleased with it. And believe it or not, I made this last night. I started at 10 p.m. and I was sewing till midnight. I was up much longer than I should have been, and I was really tired at work today. I'm tired now, but that's fine. I have a new bag and I'm ready for Rhinebeck. So those were my finished objects for today. Alright, let's move on to works in progress. A lot of you who watched my previous episode really liked the Birkin sweater that I was knitting, that I cast on, and I got so many comments about it. Many of you said that you want to make a Birkin sweater, and it's beautiful, and I mean obviously I'm making it, so I can't recommend it enough. The pattern is really nice, and I went on and on and on last time about how I waited for the new pattern update to actually make it, because a lot of people had complained about the fitting of the sweater. And the big idiot that I am, I never updated my pattern on Ravelry, so I was knitting the old version, and I found out when I finished, there are 3 color work charts. I finished the first 2, and I looked at the yoke and I was like, this looks deep enough to actually like fit me right now. So if I do another color work chart before separating for the sleeves and the body, it might give me a bat wing sleeve effect that I didn't really want for the sweater. So I put it on 2 needles. I put the sweater on 2 needles, and I steam blocked it. I measured my gauge, which turned out to be larger because I went up a needle size for the color work, and then I tried it on, and of course the yoke was actually deeper than it was supposed to be. Sorry, I had to stop again. My cats are being extremely naughty today, so they moved the camera and I had to fix it. So yeah, so here's my Birkin sweater, and so this is chart 1. This section is chart 2, and then this third leaf section at the bottom is chart 3. And like I said, you're supposed to do all 3 charts before you separate for the sleeves in the old version, and obviously because the new version actually has increases incorporated in the color work section, so the yoke fits a little better, I think. But anyway, I didn't do that. I used the old version. So by the time I got to the end of chart 2, I realized that my yoke was deep enough and it was fitting me. So what I ended up doing is actually separating for the sleeves right after chart 2, and then I started chart 3 for the body only. And I'm going to do the same thing for the sleeves. I'm going to pick up for the sleeves when I get to them, and then I'm going to work chart 3. So small modification required for the sweater, but I'm pretty pleased with it. Like, it fits me really well. I think the color work looks okay. Like, I'm kind of not happy with my tension for the color work, especially in like chart 2. And I do color work holding like with both hands. Like, I do continental and English. Like, I hold my main color in my right hand and the contrast color in my left hand. And for some reason I feel like my color work tension is not that great. So I actually ordered a knitting ring on Etsy that you can put on your index finger, and it has guides for two color work. So you can guide the yarn through so that you can hold both the yarns on one finger, and I can do continental knitting with it. And I'm excited to try it out because I want to see if the reason my gauge is off is because my English and my continental knitting have different knitting gauge. So I want to try the knitting ring so that I do continental for both the colors, and then I can see if my gauge looks better that way. And we'll see, then I'll decide if I just need more practice, or is it the gauge, or is it the two-handed color work versus single-handed color work. So we'll figure that out. But anyway, so I divided for the body and the sleeves, and I'm working on the body now. I finished the color work, so it's just going to be stockinette for a while. I'm very tempted to actually repeat this pattern at the bottom before I do the ribbing, because I have the stitch count required for the color work chart. And that's one of the things I had to do, was make sure that when I separated for the body and the sleeves, that I had the right stitch counts for the sleeve and for the body to be able to do the color work repeats, because you have to have the multiples of the repeat of the color work. So yes, so that's the progress on my Birkin. I'm very happy with it. It's feels very soft. I have a few Rauma sweater, oh, of course. So the yarn I'm using for this is Rauma Phenol PT2. The colors are, I think, 4132. That's the rusty heathered one. And the other one is a natural, I think it's 4078. I'm going to put that in the show notes, of course, so that information will be available. So that's how much progress I made. I think when I spoke about it in the previous episode, I was somewhere here, like just at the beginning of this second color work chart. So I finished all the color work now, and I made a lot of progress. I work on a lot of projects, but I work on one project at a time. So I feel like I work on this, for example, if I feel like working on the Birkin, I'll work on it for like 2-3 days, make substantial progress before I then decide that I want to work on a different project. So then I shift to another one. So I'm pretty happy with how it's going, and I'll have a really cozy woolly sweater for the winter. Yep, so that was my first work in progress. Then I actually cast on another sweater. So when I finished the crop top for my friend, which is my small project for lunch knitting, I decided to sorry if you can hear like disturbance. My cat is playing with his toy, and he's like kicking it around like a football. He's doing all this to get my attention. Basically, that's what he does every day once I come home from work. I'll get to him. I'll play with him this evening after I'm done recording. So I cast on another sweater, but this is not an adult sweater. This is a sweater for soon to be 1-year-old. My husband's brother and sister-in-law had a baby boy last December, and he's going to be 1 year old soon. And we were supposed to go for his first birthday, but I don't think we'll be able to travel to India this year as well. It's not that the flights are not available, but there are some other visa issues that I have which need to be resolved before I can travel back. So I decided that I'd make some sweaters, obviously. Being the aunt that knits, I decided I'd make some sweaters for him and send it their way and ship it to India. So I'm making the Skift sweater. I'll put up a picture of the sweater on the screen, but this is the Skift sweater. It's the designer is Jessica McDonald, and I really love Jessica's designs. They're very beautiful. I think she has 4 kids, and so she has recently released a book of patterns with something for all her children, different ages and different types of sweaters. She does a lot of color work, cabling. She uses beautiful non-superwash yarns for her designs, and her design aesthetic is really, really beautiful. So that's the Skift. I'm making this in a superwash, 100% superwash yarn, mostly because I don't want young children are a lot of work. I'm sure I don't have any, but I hear they're a lot of work. So I don't want the parents to have to think about, how you wash the clothes and, it got dirty and it's wool and how do you manage with it. So I didn't want all of that. So I decided to use superwash yarn. And this red is Plucky Knitter Trusty Sock, I think, in the two-hearted colorway. And the contrast color is a nice silver color, which is lichen and lace 80-20 sock in the silver fox color. And the sweater is actually a DK weight sweater, but I have a lot of fingering weight yarns in my stash, so I'm just holding the fingering double and I'm knitting the sweater. And I'm really pleased with how it's looking, and I love that kids can wear any color you can just put any color on them and they just look amazing. So I'm really pleased with how it's looking. And I think the color work chart is like 30 rows or something, and I'm like almost halfway through already. That's the best part about knitting for kids. It gets done quickly. I say that, but then they have long arms, so you have to do a lot of sleeve knitting. Okay, oh well. So yeah, so this is the Skift, and I'm really happy with how it's turning out. And I felt like I kind of wanted to check if my gauge issues were just because of that yarn, or does it transfer over to this as well. But I think my color work gauge here looks okay. I'll know more when I block it, but so far it looks good. I've been kind of mindful about my gauge, so maybe that's why this one looks a little better than the other one. I've had some practice. But yeah, so that's one of my new cast-ons. Not that I needed more cast-ons, but I just decided that I'll cast on. And actually his birthday is in December, and I'd like to send the package by end of next month. It takes a while to clear customs in India, so I know that it'll take me at least 2 weeks to just ship out, send it here 2 weeks in advance, and it'll get there in their hand in 2 weeks time. So that's why I'm kind of on a deadline. I create deadlines for myself. That's my specialty. I create deadlines for myself, and I stress out, and I don't struggle to meet them. I meet them most of the time, but then I have all these plans in my head, all these rules that I set. Oh, I'll work on this project, so I'll take this much time to finish it, and so I need to prioritize like this. So I do a lot of planning in my head to get these projects done. But I'm very pleased with this one. I love it. I love the color and I'm very happy. I can't say that enough. So yeah, so that's another work in progress. So I think I've shared 2 so far, and I actually have a third one, which if you watched my first episode, you know that I joined along with the Stephen West mystery knit along Shawlography for this year. So I'm actually going to share the Clue 1 progress that I've made on my Shawlography. So this is a disclaimer for anybody who does not want to see any spoilers for the mystery knit along. I'm gonna wait until you find the remote or pause the video and move to this timestamp. If the remote is somewhere, between the cushions of your couch, I'm giving you a little more time, and I'm still waiting. All right, so here is, I guess everyone who doesn't want to see has left. All right, so here is my progress on the Shawlography mystery knit along. This is by far the coolest thing I've made. Like this shawl, the design, Stephen West, everything screams cool. It's so cool. It's so different and it's so addictive. I can see now why everybody gets so excited about his mystery knit alongs, because it's just so amazing working on something, like watching the texture and watching the project unfurl in front of you, and you don't know what you don't know what to expect, right? Like what will come next. He's the definition of out of the box. Like he always thinks out of the box. So this is my shawl so far. I'm very pleased with my color selection. They are very jewel toned except for the pink. So I think I say this in every episode, fall colors and pink, that's me. I'm very happy with how it's looking. You can see that better. I think I have not finished Clue 1. There's another section that I'm supposed to work after this. I have all these ends dangling. I haven't been very good about weaving them as I go. I don't mind weaving in ends, so even if they're left for like at the end, I'll be fine. I just watch TV and weave them in, and I don't find that to be tedious at all. So that's what I'm going to do. I think you can see that the light is kind of going down now, and I have another light in front of me, so that's why you can see shadows, but I hope it's not a big problem. Next time onwards I'll make sure I record during like daylight, but it's going to be winter soon, and I think I'll have to figure out lighting issues and how to work around the absence of sun. So anyway, I digress as always. So these are the colors, and I can talk about the colors quickly. I mentioned them in my first episode. The first color is this red, which is the same color as my Skift. This is Plucky Knitter Trusty Sock in the two-hearted color. That's my color A. This is color B. This is Madeline Tosh Twist Light in the Scout colorway. It's a really nice baby pink. This is my Magpie Fibers Domestic Fingering in the Tupelo Honey. I made an Enola sweater in this color, which I'm wearing in my previous episode, and I love this color so much. I'm so happy I'm still knitting with it. This is sock yarn by Lorna's Laces. It's the colorway name is Waistcoat, and this is a nice forest green, deep green, and it's very hard to picture or even show sometimes because it comes off as black, but it's a nice forest green color. And then finally, this is my sock club yarn from Autumn and Indigo Fibers. This is the sock club from August 2021, and it doesn't have a colorway name, but it's a very pretty, I want to say aqua turquoise maybe, yeah. So it's a very pretty color and I love it so much, and it's so soft. So this is like a merino mohair nylon mix, and it's really beautiful, and I'm enjoying working with all of these yarns for the mystery knit along, and I'm really pleased with them. So yeah, so that was my work in progress. I think I have another project that I was planning to talk about, but I don't have enough done on it to show it. It's a test knit, so maybe next time I'll talk about it once I have more done on that project. But I mean, how many WIPS is too many WIPS? I don't know what's the answer to that question. I have a lot of works in progress. I always have a lot of works in progress. I'm adjusting myself to get like the best lighting here, and I think it's fine. I think it's fine. So those were all my works in progress, and I hope I didn't go on for too long about those. But yeah, so I think I've covered all the major topics, what I'm wearing, finished objects, works in progress, and like if I don't have any stash acquisitions this time. Not saying that I didn't order yarn, I ordered yarn. But nothing has been delivered yet, so I don't have anything in the stash acquisition department, which is good sometimes. I don't need more additions to my stash, but you know how it goes. I keep adding to it, even though I know I shouldn't. I should have more control with it, but yep. So general life stuff. I'm actually, one of the things I'm really excited about is I'm starting pottery classes end of this month. One of my friends goes to this studio to do pottery once a week, and the program I think is like 6 weeks long. So I told her that I want to come along and that I'm really interested in joining her and going to the class as well. So I'm very excited that I'm going to add another hobby to the never-ending list of hobbies. But I've never done pottery before, and I'm gonna find out how much I like it, and I'm very excited. I've already browsed on Pinterest to try and find things that I want to make. I drink a lot of tea and coffee, so the first thing I want to make is a mug, of course. So I'm very excited about it, and I'll obviously update you here on how it goes. And so that's one exciting thing to look forward to. Of course, there's also Rhinebeck, and we're leaving. So today's Wednesday, and we're leaving Friday morning. We'll go to Indian Tangled on Friday afternoon, and then of course the New York Sheep and Wool Festival on Saturday, and then also on Sunday morning, and then we'll leave on Sunday afternoon, drive back. It's about a 6-hour drive, so we should be back by evening on Sunday. I'm obviously excited about it, but I won't go on for too long about it because there will be another episode that I'll talk about once I'm back and I've had all the fun, and then I'll talk about it. So I think that's all I have for today. I thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for subscribing and commenting on my videos. And I really appreciate all the support and all the encouragement that I've been getting, and I'm so privileged that I can come to you and from this corner of my home, and then talk about all my knitting and be so welcomed, feel so welcomed in the community. Thank you so much. Hope you have a wonderful couple weeks, and happy knitting. Bye.